today the waste away, but nevertheless it's never late. Oh, see the times have changed. I thought you knew.
Here to give a brief talk on coronavirus. I'm here with my team. I'll start introducing myself and others will also do the introduction. I'm Chris Justine, Public Health Nurse, St. Anthony's Hospital.
Wow.
I'm Eunice Chibe, a midwife, St. Anthony's Hospital.
What have you heard about coronavirus? Coronavirus, what have you heard about it?
I heard that coronavirus is a deadly disease.
Very good, clap for him.
I heard that coronavirus is an airborne disease that affects the respiratory system.
Very good. Over. Clap for him. You have a clear idea about the coronavirus. And as two people have already presented, some of them have already given the definition of coronavirus. So any other person, the third person before I start my presentation.
I heard that it is a dangerous virus in town.
Very good.
Hello, ladies in the house. Okay, there's a hand over.
Coronavirus is a deadly disease and has killed many people across the world.
Hey, very good.
Clap for her.
With our presentation this morning, we'll just say something small about coronavirus. Then we'll look at the incubation period of the coronavirus. We'll also talk about the mode of transmission. Then we look at the signs and symptoms, then the preventive measures, and if management, we include it. Then another person will just highlight something small on the current vaccine that we are educating people to take. So coronavirus, as I've said, is one of the viruses. We have a lot of millions of viruses. Then when you get this coronavirus, we have something, research are proving that you can start showing the signs and symptoms from day 4 up to day 6. But even with this one, it depends on the various immune system. Someone can be infected with the virus today, and within 2 to 3 days, the person may start exhibiting the signs and symptoms. So it depends on the individual system. So when we say incubation period, we are just talking about the time you are infected with the virus up to the time you start exhibiting the signs and symptoms. Please, can you all hear me? Yes. Transmission. When we say mode of transmission, how can someone get coronavirus? Most of the times, you realize that direct contact with an infected person. So if you don't social distance yourself from people, you can easily get infected with COVID-19. As we are all seated closely without wearing masks, if one person is infected and closer to another infected person, the infected person can easily transmit the virus to an uninfected person. But if the other person seated closer is wearing mask, it will not be that easy for the person to get the COVID-19. The person cough, you are closer to the person cough, or the person sneeze, you can also get the COVID-19. And you also realize that the coronavirus at times, most at times, you can even get it on surfaces. If I say surfaces, if I have coronavirus like this, and maybe I touch my face, my nose, and I decided to hold this table like this. Without they cleaning this table, anyone who come and touch this table will also carry this COVID-19 in the person's palm or the hand. And the moment the person shake another person, and the person is not the person they've shake, just unfortunately puts his or her hand into the ears, the eyes, or the nose, automatically the person will infect him or herself. That is where we are emphasizing on regular hand washing, so that in case you get in contact with any surface that the coronavirus is on, you can easily wash your hand and take it off. Even though we are all shouting this is a deadly disease, it is very good that soap can take off this COVID-19. Just that it's unfortunately we cannot swallow the soap. That is where we still have to take all the precautionary measures that we are talking about. Even though people can say you can take precautionary measures but you may be infected, if you take the precautionary measures without being careful, you may be infected with the coronavirus. That's 1 week, 2 weeks. In case you get in contact with the COVID and you've not washed your mask, you wear it again, you will reinfect yourself. That is why even though we are talking of precautionary measures, there are other things we also need to put in place. So with the mode of transmission, as I've said earlier on, when an infected person cough or sneeze, you can easily get the COVID-19. When you get in contact with surfaces, when I say surfaces, it can be this table, it can be this box, it can be anything that you get in contact with without washing your hand or sanitizing your hand, you can easily get it. Even though we are saying sanitizing your hand, it's not that you just get up and take sanitizer, you are sanitizing your hand. So you have to wash your hand with soap and running water. That is the best way. Then if we now know how we can get coronavirus, if I get coronavirus, what are some of the signs and symptoms that I can know? You know, most of the times with most disease conditions, they resemble each other. The signs and symptoms of malaria, some can be signs and symptoms of COVID-19. So you realize that you can come with fever, When I say fever, a lot of people think when they say fever is malaria. Excuse me, when we say fever, we are not talking of malaria. We are just talking of your temperature above normal. That is fever. So when you come to the facility, most of the time what you realize is that people will say, oh, I have fever. They are talking of malaria, but fever doesn't mean malaria. It's just your temperature is above normal. You have COVID-19. The person may have sore throat. Then some people will be coughing. Some will have difficulty in breathing. Some will be sneezing. And some, you realize that they will be weak. Some will be vomiting. A lot of signs and symptoms come. But even though we are saying that these are some of the signs and symptoms, it doesn't mean that you exhibit all those signs and symptoms before we say that you have COVID-19. Someone can just come with fever and the person will be a suspected case of COVID. Until the tests have been done and confirmed, you can't say the person is having COVID-19. Because other signs and symptoms also resemble COVID-19 symptoms or signs. So even though I say the person will come with fever, it doesn't mean when you come with fever, we'll diagnose with COVID. We'll look at other things, take your sample. When the results confirm you have COVID-19 before we say you have COVID-19. So those are some of the signs and symptoms that we see that you have COVID-19. Earlier when I mentioned of fever, we talk of sore throat, coughing, difficulty in breathing. The person will be weak, a lot of signs and symptoms. Those are some of the things that we see that, oh, this person might be suffering from COVID-19. The most dangerous aspect of COVID-19 is its asymptomatic nature. You are suspecting you have this COVID-19 or you don't have the COVID-19. What will you do so that you don't get this COVID-19? I'll pause here and invite our midwife, Ms. Chigbe, to take us through the preventive measures of COVID-19.
So I'm just here to continue with the prevention. After we knowing what the coronavirus is, the causes, the signs and symptoms, what are some of the things that we will do to be able to prevent ourselves for not welcoming that coronavirus into our homes? You know, you can pick it from school and send it to your other family members in the house. Do you know that? The first thing that we are supposed to do, I think almost all of us in Mauli Complex School are doing it. The first thing we've all, yes, clap for yourself. We are all wearing our nose masks. First, to make sure at all times our nose masks are on. Do we get that? And when they are on, it should be able to cover our nose, our mouth very well. Do you get it? We shouldn't wear it and then it will be below the nose like this. Okay? It should always cover the nose. And then cover the chin and then your chin. Do we get it? So when we go home, we should tell our parents, our siblings that are not in school, that are in other schools, that today we have learned to prevent coronavirus. The first thing is to put on our masks all the time. And then the second one is we should always wash our hands with soap and under running water. If you don't have soap and under running water, all the time you should have an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Do we all know the alcohol-based hand sanitizer? Yeah. For us, and then we carry it to school or to church or wherever we are going. It should always be in our bag so that when maybe you visit a place, a washroom, or you touch something that there is no water available, you can pour an amount into your hands and then wrap it. We'll be taking you through how to perform all those things. So the third one is we should always social distance. Do you get it? Hug each other. Now the virus is so deadly that you can't hug each other again. You can't sit closer to each other. So we are supposed to sit at distance ourselves. Do we get it? And those of us who don't normally use tissue or handkerchief to sneeze, we just sneeze in our palms like that. No. Henceforth, we are no more sneezing like that. So when you go to the house, you try to educate your parents in the house and your other siblings that henceforth when they want to sneeze and they don't have handkerchief, they don't have tissue, they should bend their elbows like this and sneeze in their elbow. Do we get that? The reason why we are sneezing in our elbow is that, not in our palm, is that it will be very difficult for us to use this side of the arm to pick something or to touch something. Do you get it? Or even if someone says, oh, I surely want to touch you, or I want to greet you, whereby we handshake, it will be difficult for you and that person's body to come into contact with the elbow. Do we get that? That is why sometimes unconsciously, if you want to sneeze and then or cough and then you realize that your tissue, your handkerchief are not reachable, quickly you bend your elbow and sneeze in it. Do we get that? And then if you don't have anything doing outside, assuming the school is on vacation and then you don't have anything doing outside, you are not going to the market, you are not going to church, my brothers and sisters, kindly stay in the house. Do you get that? But if you want to step out, you put on your mask. And if you are in the house, your mom or your dad or your elderly sister says, I'm having fever or I'm feeling feverish, I'm coughing, I'm having difficulty in breathing. Do we know what is difficulty in breathing? It's a basic English language. So you tell the person to seek medical attention. So in seeking medical attention, if the person can walk and put on the mask and come to the hospital and make sure he or she refrain or restrain himself from total population and just come to the hospital and walk straight to the OPD and inform the people that I'm having these signs and symptoms. So I have come to report to the hospital. Or if your mom or dad has any health workers number, they call them that my child or my husband is feeling this and that. Then they come to pick the person. Auntie said in her presentation that you cannot, if you are exhibiting those signs and symptoms, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have COVID-19. Get it? So let's go over our preventions again. What did I say?
Washing our hands and running water into.
That is so good. Let's clap for it. Okay, that is so nice. She said she heard we should use hand sanitizer.
Basically, I'm just going to talk briefly about the vaccine. When we talk of vaccine, what do we mean? What is a vaccine? Can somebody tell me what a vaccine is? Anybody with an idea of what a vaccine is?
Medicine taken to prevent a sickness or a virus.
Give it to him. At this level, you have these ideas and then this knowledge. Let's clap for them again. So basically, a vaccine is a biological preparation introduced into the body to provide active acquired immunity against an infectious disease. Are you with me? That's the general definition of a vaccine. Now, coming back to COVID-19 vaccine, I know for the sake of information, listening to radio, watching TV, and all those other things, you have heard a lot about the introduction of the COVID-19 vaccine, which currently, by the grace of God, we have some in the country. And then people are already taking the vaccine. Personally, I have taken. My sisters have all taken this vaccine. The vaccine basically works in a way that is, when the vaccine is introduced into the body, it gives some message to the body because the vaccine resembles the infectious disease that we are trying to prevent. So when it is being introduced into the body, it gives a picture for the body to detect some kind of foreign bacteria in the body. So when that happens, the body tries to what? Infection. So what I'm trying to say is that, you see, the vaccine is not the agent causing the disease, but it is in a form of the disease. So when it's being introduced into the body sees the vaccine as the disease. Are you with me? And in that process, it gives what? Antibodies to fight the infection. Are you with me? So basically, that is how the vaccine works. The vaccine, some people say, causes infection. The vaccine does not cause infection, or the vaccine does not cause the infectious disease. For example, the COVID-19 vaccine that we are talking about, it doesn't cause the infection. But what? When it's being introduced into the body sees it as an infection, as a foreign body. So by so doing, it is fighting or trying to produce antibodies to fight any subsequent infection, the real infection that may come in the future. Am I clear? So currently we have so many types of vaccines in the market that pertaining to the COVID-19 vaccine. We have the AstraZeneca, we have the Covishield, and others. But currently we have AstraZeneca. And for the AstraZeneca, it is taken in 2 doses. You take the first one, that's the first dose, after 8 weeks, after 8 weeks, that is 2 months, you take the second one. It is shown that the first dose takes or protects the individual for just somewhere 3 months. 3 months. Are you with me? The second dose, as the booster, protects you for life. That is the research that is out now. Vaccine taking, I think your age group may not be allowed to take it. Are you with me? By your age group, you are not going to take it. But then the purpose, like my sister said, the purpose of saying this here is to send you as messengers, so that when you go home and there's any myth, people are talking or saying things that are not real or are not fact. As a student, having this knowledge, I'm sure you can educate these people. Are you with me? Yeah, so by the age that is supposed to take the vaccine, we are talking about 18 years and above. Who is 18 years here among the students? Who is 18 years here? I mean, among the students, who is 18 here? So you are not privileged to take that vaccine. Education, you are privy to this information. So when you go home, you send the information out there. Now, the COVID vaccine, as a well-developed vaccine, has efficacy of 60 to 94%. Are you with me? It's by individual system. Somebody may take the COVID-19 vaccine and may not show any side effect. Are you with me? Let me share my personal side effect with you. When I took this vaccine, I felt malaise, chills, fever, headache, bodily pain. The site at which the injection was given, I felt pain there. But what did I do? After taking paracetamol that night and the following day, I was fine, and I'm fine now. Are you with me? So, majority of the people that took the vaccine came with what? Side effect. It is normal with every medicine. Even paracetamol, when you take it, you have its side effect. Common water, when you overdrink it, you have its effect. Are you with me? So, what am I trying to say? The vaccine is safe. Okay? The vaccine is very safe. Let's not take into consideration those myths or misconceptions about the vaccine, whereby somebody will say it is not safe for you to take. Somebody will say when you take the vaccine, you are not going to be productive. You'll be doing this, you'll be doing that, you'll be behaving like a mungu or those other things. It is not true. Basically, I will stop here and then allow you to ask me questions. If you have any myth or misconception about the vaccine, let me know so that I clear that. Okay, somebody?
And above.
Yes.
Why is it that the vaccine is for only those people? Is it that we, the children, can't be infected with the disease?
That is very good. It's a new vaccine being developed. And as I'm talking now here, research is ongoing to get that of the vaccine that will include the younger age. Are you with me? So basically, per the research done, 18 years and above are the only people who are allowed to take it. It doesn't mean they are discriminating against you, but then, you know, for vaccine to be used or to be developed, we talk of safety, its safety and the efficacy and the others. Okay? So per the safety protocols, it is not safe for a younger age group to take. Now, the student just asked, was a question. I went for a radio interview and an old man asked. Let's clap for him. Why are we clapping for him again? I thought he's thinking like the old man that called me during my radio program to ask that question. Vaccine, per the definition, is introduced to the body to what? Provide active acquired immunity against an infection. Did you hear me? Please, did you hear me? Yes. I'm repeating that again. A vaccine is a biological preparation introduced to the body to provide what? Active acquired immunity against an infectious disease. So what that means is that the vaccine is not going to cure you of the infection. You don't get the infection and now take the vaccine for the vaccine to cure the infection. The vaccine, what the vaccine does is to prevent you from getting that infection. Am I making some sense here? So
when you see a crown before you wash your hand, and even with that one crown, what we normally do is that we raise our hand. When we finish eating, then we now take time to wash our hand because we don't want the same. That's what we'll be doing. But COVID has actually taught us a great lesson that we must always wash our hand. The more you wash your hand, the more you prevent yourself from getting coronavirus. We all know that coronavirus is an infectious disease. Usually it affects the respiratory system. With the demonstration of the hand sanitizer, before you use the hand sanitizer, you check the expiring date. Then you check the alcohol percentage in it. We are encouraging 70%, above 70%, from 70 and above percentage of alcohol should be in the hand sanitizer before you use. So it's not just going to the market to buy any hand sanitizer. And before you use the hand sanitizer, you must check your hand. When I say you should check your hand or your palm, what I mean is that you should be sure your hands are not visibly dirty. If I say your hands are not visibly dirty, maybe you went and cut wood, or you decided to play in the sun, then you decide to use hand sanitizer to clean your hand. You've done nothing. So when your hands are visibly dirty, you don't use the hand sanitizer. That means you can see that, my hands are very dirty. But when your hands are not visibly dirty, you know, you can look at my palm like this, or my hands. They are dirty, but you may not even know. With this one, you can use hand sanitizer. And what you have to do is that you don't just use hand sanitizer and just stop like, I've used hand sanitizer, so this one will carry me the whole day. No. The moment you get in contact with something, a surface or anything, or you shake someone, you quickly have to use another hand sanitizer. So now I'm coming to use my hand sanitizer. The first thing I check is that, the expiry date of the hand sanitizer. Then I'll look at the alcohol percentage. Oh, okay. I can use this hand sanitizer. Then this is how you go about it. You pour the hand sanitizer into your palm. Have you seen it? This is what you do. Then the tip of your fingers, you go about this in a circular way. So that in case there are some disease or anything in here, you can just take it off. So you go about it like this. Then you pour this sanitizer into the other palm. Then you make your fingers like this way again. Please, I hope you can all see it. Yes. It may evaporate, so you come. This is how you spread it all over. Then you now do it this way. I hope you can all see it. Yes. You don't just do something like this. You do it vigorously because you are about taking something off from your palm. So this is how you go about it. Then you come here, the back of your palm. This is how you go about it. Then you interlock the distance. I hope you can all see it. So the small quantity people have been fetching cannot do all this thing, or can he do it? Then you come this way. You have to remember so that you don't forget. Can you all see? Someone will demonstrate for me to see you. Then you come here. I hope you can all see it. Yes. Then that's all. It will air dry on its own. That's how you use the hand sanitizer.
You really want to show if you're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're learning and you know, say aha. If you're learning and you know, say ha ha. If you're learning and you know, and you really want to show, if you're learning and you know, say ha ha. COVID-19.
it's real.
COVID-19.
It's deadly.
COVID-19.
Let's protect ourselves.
COVID-19.
It's real.
COVID-19.
It's deadly.
COVID-19.
Let's protect ourselves.
Thank you. You guys are charming. So before you perform hand washing with soap and running water, first of all, you need to check your water, the quantity of the water that you have, and then the quality of the water that you have. So when I say the quantity, I'll open to see the amount of water that I have because I need water. I'll pour the water. Do you get it? And then I need to check whether there is any particle in the water, which when I use it to wash my hand, it will still get contaminated. My hand will still get contaminated. So our water should be hygienic, it should be clean. There are sometimes you fetch water down, you haven't opened it, but you wonder where gecko feces will find itself in the water, where those stones and stuff will find themselves in the water. So you need to check. If there are all those things in the water, you need to throw the water away and fetch a clean water. Do we get that? Yes. And then you need to check your soap. All the time, your soap should be carbonated. Do you get that? We should have a carbonated soap or any quality soap at all. So first of all, what you do is that you check whether your tap is working. Actually, I should have a towel dispenser. So fine, I have my tissue here, which is right. Do you get it? And then you should have another container or dustbin where you dispose of your tissue when you finish washing your hand. Do you get that? So you need to check all those things. So first of all, I open the tap, wet my hands.
I hope you can all see what you
So when I wet my hands, I will lather my hand or I will apply enough soap onto my hands. So with the techniques then, I make sure my hand is well lathered with the soap. So palm to palm, I go vigorously in a circular motion. Then I go to the palm, the back of my palm. So I wash the back of the palm very well. I move to the other palm, the back of the other palm. Then come back with my fingers interlacing each other. So I do it this way to make sure if there is any infection or there is any virus or microorganism in between my hands, they are taken off. So I move to my thumb. Then I put this thumb into my other hand with this one on top of it. Then I'm washing this thumb. So when I finish, I'll move to the other thumb again. Then I wash. Then I come. My nail, maybe there may be any organism or infection. So back to my palm. Then I rotate it in a circular manner to make sure if there is anything there, it goes off. Same to here. Then to my wrist, I wash it very well. Then under the tap, I rinse neatly.
Can you all see it?
Yes. So when I'm done, I take my tissue and clean my hand.
And the first thing she's doing is she's removing her watch. And that's one of the best things to do. Start. Can you all see the way Irene is doing it? Yes. You can see her. Yes. Let's clap for her. I hope you can all see how he's doing it. Yes. Let's clap for him. taking you through the hand sanitizing the way you are supposed to do it. So you make sure you sanitize your hand very well before you touch the mask. I'll wear this one for her. Donating to Mauli Complex. So this is just a sample of it. You people should put it into good use so that none of us, or even some people should even get COVID, but will not die out of COVID-19. Thank you very much for listening. On behalf of SOSSAH, in collaboration with St. Anthony Hospital, we are donating this mask with carbolic soap to Mauli Complex to aid in combating COVID-19.
We are very grateful and we hope you are going to make good use of the materials you have given us. We thank you very much.
To be called upon to do the vote of thanks for this wonderful ceremony. First of all, the first thanks goes to the Almighty God for making today's program very successful. Then moreover, I thank our nurses, the midwives, and everyone over here for coming to educate us on the coronavirus pandemic. Thank you very much. Then I thank my fellow students for cooperating with our health workers, listening, and I hope we've all learned something today. Thank you very much.